نستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن سار على سبيله إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So in our last lesson in studying the book Bulugu Maraam, and we're in the chapter of Sifatul Salat, and in the last lesson we had discussed concerning matters relating to Tashahhud and more specific regarding At-Tahiyyat. So we discussed concerning At-Tahiyyat in the Tashahhud and the different At-Tahiyyat that have been mentioned, and also a ruling pertaining to At-Tahiyyat. And what's the ruling of the Tahiyyat in the Tashahhud is? What's the ruling? Is it wajib, mustahab?
Three opinions.
Okay, what are those three opinions?
One that is wajib, one that is sunnah, and one that is mustahab.
Okay, so those are the three opinions regarding tashahhud. And we have in the salat, so we discussed those matters and the aqwal of the ulama regarding it, and we have taken certain position, and concerning tashahhud, meaning at-tahiyyat, regarding at-tahiyyat.
Yeah.
Okay. So regarding at-tahiyyat, so it occurs in both the first.
No. It's the second. I'm getting confused. The second bit. That's the bit that they have a difference of three opinions, I believe.
Which is that?
When you're sending salutations on Prophet Ibrahim or Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Okay.
Even
so
the first one, there's a different opinion there.
I think there's two in the first.
So there's different opinion in both regarding them. And last we discussed concerning of the hadith that regarding concerning sending salutation or Salat al-Ibrahim, regarding also that particular matter, and also different between the ulama pertaining to that, and occur regarding the first and regarding the second, the last rakah. Then so we discussed those matters. Matter that we mentioned, or we ended regarding concern that that there's various narrations regarding how it can be done. They mentioned a narration inside Muslim regarding this. Also, you have other narration regarding how Salat al-Ibrahim can also be said. So you have several ways in which it can be said. And the author Rahimullah Ibn Hajar, he mentioned one of those different wordings. You have other ones that are there, and most of those other ones that are also authentic in the Bukhari and also Muslim pertaining to At-Tahiyyat, but also some of them have additional wordings. Some of them have additional wordings. So after then, we go to the hadith that follows the hadith that follows. In here they can start mentioned in the Tahiyyat mentioned قول اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. So the ulama discussed concerning who are intended or who are meant by saying Ali Muhammad, the family of Muhammad. So a discussion between the ulama that regarding who are those who are classed or said to be from Ali Muhammad. So that's a discussion between some of the ulama, and they mention concerning Ali Muhammad that they are those of his family, and they are four: Ali, Jafar, Abbas, and Aqil. They are considered for me the Prophet Islam family line. So the family line are from those four, and regarding those four, that they also have certain things which are particular to Imam Islam, and also things that it says khasa'is, specific or particular to the Prophet, and sometimes those things, some things may be extended to his family. So those things sometimes may be extended to his family or to his clan. So you have certain things that are with the Prophet Islam that are either specific to his family, so the Prophet Islam family, that they are not allowed sadaqah. So taking sadaqah is not upon them, because they have certain status of being the Prophet Islam family. So certain rules and ahkam applies to them that would not apply to others. So of those things concerning sadaqah, of those matters regarding concerning al-Qurashi, that they are the ones who supposed to be more, or the ones, if available and suitable, they are the ones to be the leaders of the Muslim. So you have certain things that apply to them in particular, based upon certain texts. So that's concerning who are said to be from Ali Muhammad. So after then, will discuss, I will mention uncertainty. You find that sometimes people, they go overboard regarding the Prophet Islam. So even if certain people going overboard, it's not something which is new amongst people in general, regarding even people of faith. So people of faith regarding that sometimes go overboard, and concerning of those people, sometimes people go overboard or regarding showing their love towards them and the likes. You have either people who are Anbiya. So the ulama mentioned, Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, that the people, they are tested by two groups of people. And from this ummah and also from those before, people are said to be righteous, because people look to them as people are righteous. So sometimes people go overboard in showing their respect for people of piety. People of piety, that sometimes people go overboard regarding how they show their level of admiration towards those people. So there are people who are righteous, because the person is known for his piety. Then another group of people are the ulama. So the other group of people, sometimes due to their status, that are the ulama, and they're the one who are the Warath al-Anbiya, they are the successor of the Prophet Islam. I mean in this context, the ulama to sunnah, or even ulama in general. You find people go overboard sometimes regarding them, especially those who are said to be their followers. So Islam also gives certain guidelines regarding how we're supposed to deal with people or scholars or people who are righteous, and not to go beyond certain boundaries. And of those who have people have gone overboard regarding is also Anbiya, of being people who are righteous, and also people being Anbiya, even though they have cautioned their people regarding this matter. So Isa alayhi salam have been elevated to that become Son of God according to some, and even become God himself according to some, and that's elevating Isa alayhi salam beyond what he's deserving. But other people think they have respect for Isa alayhi salam, that they elevate him to that particular status. And also our Prophet alayhi salam, the same thing occurred. And also with that, you find people go to the next side of things, to the next extreme, which is they have no respect for the Anbiya. So you find that concerning certain people, that they try that many Anbiya came to them, but also they have tried to kill them. So you have that extreme where people can somewhat, they do not want to fall in line with the teaching of those Anbiya. They see it as a threat to their establishment or to their system, so they try to do away with the Anbiya, and even by killing them, and also by, they say, character assassination. So first step would be character assassination, then after it will be taking a person out. So that have occurred regarding Al-Anbiya and also righteous people. And also that people are said the ulama. People of the ulama, so attest, people carry ilm, that their test is different and can be very intense, even for them, to maintain certain things regarding mainly the people who follow them or people who look to them. So that's something of old. I want to story concerning Al Junaid, that particular person was righteous and accused of what? Remember Junaid?
The Bani Israel?
Bani Israel, so accused concerning fornicating, concerning having a child and other things. So those tests come upon people of piety, and also people, so be mindful and try to stick within the boundaries regarding how we revere people of piety, and also people are said to be righteous, Rijal Salih, or Salihin, and also people are Al-Ulama, that we can somewhat try to put everything in proper context regarding how we show some form of admiration and respect and honor of those people of that status. So the Prophet Islam can somewhat mention concerning Ibrahim or Ali Ibrahim, regarding concerning Ibrahim alayhi salam, because of him being from that all of the Anbiya somewhat connect back to Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Ibrahim is said to be Abu al-Anbiya. He's said to be Abu al-Anbiya, as after Ibrahim, concerned that the different nations regarding Arabs and Bani Israel, al-Yahud, that from that the Anbiya, they all go back to Ibrahim alayhi salam. And Ibrahim laysa Yahudi wala Nasrani. Ibrahim is not said or to be labeled as a Jew or a Christian. That's incorrect. So regarding concerns that's concerning the Tashahhud, regarding this matter,
You know, you said the 4 people from the Prophet's family. Is it only those 4 who covers Wa'ala Ali Muhammad, that bit?
So I mentioned
Only 4.
concerning that Ali Muhammad. So you have a different between the ulama regarding concerning. You have one concerning Ali Muhammad. So for example, who said Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, and all time it is mentioned regarding Ali Muhammad who are intended by Ali Muhammad. Now, so you find most of the time a person over the khatib or the dahi or the opening lecture always mention about giving salutation upon Ali Muhammad. Who are those? So you have different aqwal regarding the ulama. Now, regarding his family progeny or line, now, then it is those 4. Some kind of somewhat said that regarding those, but by way of in general, some all concerning Ali Muhammad is everyone who of those who follow him on upon Islam. So those can somewhat so Ali Muhammad sometimes can be understood or taken in context of all of those who are his followers, and in specific to his family line, then it is those 4. That those 4 are said to be from Ali Muhammad, as certain rules kind of somewhat specific to them. Certain rules are specific to them, and they still exist. Now, in certain places they're called Sharif. Sharif, whereas they in Pakistan they call a different name.
Sayyid.
Sayyid.
Yeah.
Nam. So the Arab call them Sharif, and they still exist. So for example, like now concerning that, certain people can trace their family tree, and including more people can so they put emphasis regarding the Prophet Islam family tree. Nam. So of the more prominent ones, yeah, there exist many places. In Pakistan you can find some, in the Arab country you can find some type of thing. But the more like outstanding ones, prominent ones, are concerning Bani Hashim, and those ones the one concerning the king of Morocco and also the king of Jordan, that they are direct descendants. Those one descendants, their line is clear for everyone. Now, others, then it becomes to, they have to kind of somewhat prove their ancestral line, but for those ones it's somewhat very clear regarding those ones. And that's what concerned their leadership also can somewhat see that referred to as Hashimi, because of them having that line. But at the end of the day, concerned, no, it is helpful in some regards. But at the end of the day, regarding certain ahkam that relates to them, but at the end of the day, everyone will stand Yawm al-Qiyamah based upon his hasanat wa sayyat, whether you're from the Prophet Islam family tree or not. And it doesn't mean that because you're from that line, then you have special pass in everything, especially concerning Yawm al-Qiyamah, where everyone will stand and have to give account. So the end is regarding a person's deeds, righteous deeds, that will aid him on that day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. So what's on the masail regarding that particular matter? Then we now go to the hadith that follows.
Which number is that?
250.
250. Narrated Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, when one of you finishes the last Tashahhud, he should seek refuge in Allah from 4 things by saying, O Allah, I seek refuge in you against the punishment of Jahannam, hellfire, the punishment of the grave, the trial of life and death, and the evil of the trial of Masih ad-Dajjal, Antichrist, agreed upon in the narration of Muslim. When any of you finishes the last Tashahhud.
And hadith of Abu Bakr Siddiq, as it relates, the next hadith, as it relates.
Narrated Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he said to Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, teach me a supplication to use in my prayer. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, say, O Allah, I have greatly wronged myself, and no one forgives sins except you. So grant me forgiveness from you, and have mercy on me. You are the forgiving and the merciful one. Agreed upon.
Bismillah. So regarding concerning the Hada'at Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he mentioned these 2 hadiths regarding matters relating to the supplication to be, or dua to be said, or askar to be said after tashahhud, or within at the end of the tashahhud. So he starts with his hadith. He mentioned first hadith of Abu Hurairah anhu. قال رسول الله عليه السلام إذا تشهد أحدكم. In the reading it says إذا تشهد, in the what you read concerning if you make the last tashahhud. That's in your book. That's what's in the book.
إذا تشهد أحدكم.
Hey, but what's in the English? What's in the English? The hadith,
Yeah.
the first hadith it mentions إذا تشهد أحدكم فليستعيذ بالله من أربع.
Last.
It's the last. Now,
Yeah.
so general concern that last put a bracket as it's not supposed to be in the hadith.
The last isn't.
And the word last in this hadith, now this narration shouldn't be there. So something,
Is it mentioned in the Arabic as well? Last.
it doesn't mention that. That's in the next narration. So you have some narration that mention tashahhud akhir, but the first hadith of the hadith that he mentioned first, muttafaqun alayh, is not in that hadith. So he mentioned إذا تشهد أحدكم فليستعيذ. He doesn't mention إذا تشهد أخيرا. He doesn't mention that. And the other narration mentioned in Sahih Muslim إذا فرغ أحدكم, when you end your tashahhud akhir. So the more correct said translation is without the word akhir or last. Clear?
But does that mean that we can make this dua in the second tashahhud?
Now we're discussing first the wordings. Cannot be more specific regarding what the wording of the hadith. Because sometimes in translation, the translator may add certain things which is understood. That is what is implied, but that is not what is in the hadith. As other narration may explain, but not per se that particular hadith. For example, the first hadith of Abu Hurairah anhu, it doesn't mention whether it is the first or the last tashahhud. Clear? The next narration after, in the Sahih Muslim, another can somewhat clarify that what is intended is the last tashahhud.
Put the extra word.
Aye. So that extra wording type of thing. And that's from the translator. That will be from the translator. So regarding the hadith, that's concerning hadith. So general concern this particular discussion regarding that is concerning the dua or askar to be said after tashahhud. So Ibn Rajab rahimahullah, they have the discussion or what is mentioned concerning what is intended regarding the supplication, askar or dua. Is that this is the one to be said in the tashahhud akhir, the last tashahhud, meaning if a salat, meaning in the cases of salat that consists of in the last tashahhud, whether it is one tashahhud or two tashahhud, is to be said in the last tashahhud before the taslim, before the salam. So I mentioned that these matters are somewhat, the ulama mentioned, is something which is mashru' to be said without any khilaf between ulama, without any difference between ulama. That dua fi tashahhud akhir قبل السلام مشروع بلا خلاف, as mentioned in Al-Fath, and this Fath al-Bari by Ibn Rajab. So after this, the ulama have a discussion regarding this particular supplication, the first one regarding seeking protection from four matters. Seeking protection from four matters. In some narration it mentioned, استعيذوا بالله من خمس. Seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protection from 5. So this one narration mentioned how many? That we read? 4. But some narration mentioned seek protection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from 5 matters. I mentioned they say all what is mentioned here. Where in the 5 it distinguished, it make it count al-mahya wal-mamat as 2 separate. So that becomes 5. Now in our narration here, mahya wal mamat is counted as 1. So that's concerning. So you might have some wordings which says 5 and some wordings that says 4. The one that say 5, then it is counted as min fitnatil mahya wal mamat as 2 separate. the ulama, the discussion between the ulama regarding this matter is saying this particular supplication, seeking protection from these matters, 4 matters, is it something which is wajib to be said or not in the last tashahhud. In the last tashahhud. So the ulama of al-Zahiriyya, or some of the ulama of al-Zahir, that they all that saying this particular it's a wajib to be said in the salah. It is a wajib to be said in the salat. And it's al-Zahir, and also Ta'us. Amongst them also Ta'us, among the Tabi'een, that it is a must, that in the Tashahhud Akhir, the last Tashahhud, the person must say this particular supplication, seeking refuge from these 4 matters. Also, the second view is the view of Jumhur of the ulama, majority of the ulama. Now, majority of the ulama, they have the view that seeking refuge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from these 4 matters, that is something which is sunnah, mustahab, and not wajib. Not to the degree of wajib, but something mustahab to be said in the salat, but not to the degree of being wajib, but rather mustahab. And they said the proof that the hadith that we read of Abu Hurairah anhu, we mentioned, إِذَا تَشَهَّدَ أَحَدُكُمْ فَلْيَسْتَعِدْ بِاللَّهِ. If you make the tashahhud, in the last tashahhud, then seek refuge. For instance, فَلْيَسْتَعِدْ, it said فِعْلُ الْأَمْرِ, you're being commanded to do this thing. So that normally will indicate that something is wajib to be done. So if you're commanded, being instructed by saying do such and such thing, that will normally indicate that is something what? Wajib to be done. They say fi'l al-amr, you're being commanded to be done, to carry out certain things. But I said the things that remove it from being the level of wajib to a level of mustahab is other hadith, that for example hadith of al-Musi as-Salat, the one who made error in the Salat, where the Prophet ﷺ never instructed for him to read this in the Salah. But some of the ulama, so you have that discussion between the ulama regarding that particular matter.
Who's on the opinion that it's wajib?
Al-Zahir, that is wajib.
Yeah, who's on the opinion that
it's Al-Zahir. It's the ulama of the Zahiriyya will be Ibn Hazm. Ibn Hazm, and they refer to as Al-Zahir, the main sheikh of the that madhab. You have others, but a more famous of them is Ibn Hazm rahimahullah, as he has a book to explain the madhab of the Zahiriyya. Now, even though he's not the founder, if you want to use the word, the founder of the madhab of the Zahiriyya. You have Dawood al-Zahiri is the founder, or attributed to being the founder of the madhab of the Zahiriyya. Ibn Hazm is the one who came after and wrote in defense and clarifying that madhab.
Is that the other madhab that's a little bit less known?
Yeah. So you could say that it's somewhat been, I'll use the word, some become revived, become more, renowned in contemporary time. Now, can you find some of the ulama who are especially concerned ulama of hadith, now that kind of somewhat they in some ways inclined to teach in the books of Zahiriyya, and the book more so the book of Ibn Hazm, which is called Al-Muhalla. So you find that in contemporary time of ulama that of the name of Sheikh Badiuddin Ash-Shah. No, heard of that name before?
Yeah, you mentioned it before.
I mentioned it before. Okay.
So who was the founder?
Who is that?
Of the Zahiriyya?
We said Abu Dawood al-Zahiri. But Ibn Hazm, the one who wrote books in Usul al-Fiqh and in Fiqh to aid and to clarify that madhab. So it's prominent, so it become known and established because of the works of Ibn Hazm. Even though Ibn Hazm rahimahullah started out as he was Maliki, wasn't Zahiri, but then changed and then wrote books in Usul al-Fiqh and also many books in Fiqh and other books explain the madhab of Zahiriyya. In the Zahir madhab, they kind of somewhat, they have certain things that the ulama kind of somewhat clarify regarding them. So that madhab less popular amongst the general people, and not in a sense that they hold everything to be zahir, apparent, and that sometimes when they are right, and when they are wrong, they are wrong. They're like that. When they are right, they're on point, because they stick to dalil, Quran or Sunnah, and ijma in a restricted way, and also they do not accept qiyas at all. And sometimes Ibn Hazm Rahim in the book of Muhalla, his wording can be very, very harsh against other ai So the ulama generally will tell a talib who's beginner and to a intermediary and they reach really advanced level, do not read too much in this book, because it can give you somewhat you become very
restricted in your view.
Not restricted, become very certain wording that may be used against other ulama can be very unbefitting. That's the best way I can put it. They can use very unbefitting word against others who they disagree with. With me? But in our time, for example, was that Sheikh Badiyuddin and Sindi, that of ulama of Hind of Hadith, he used to teach his book in the Haram in Mecca. He used to teach in Haram al-Mekki. But then because of all that book is and all the impact on his student, they stopped him from teaching, or it was recommended that he taught something else.
How was the impact in the student?
It become very harsh and tough.
Yeah.
Hey, and can be some of them, how they may, their wording to other ulama can be very unbefitting. Understand? And people who, even our time, who are somewhat, who are not yet very well disciplined on a certain level, who have studied from this book, you can see the impact it has upon them. Without mentioning, you understand, you can see the impact that it can be very, you understand, the word that they use sometimes can be out of, not the best of words. And especially concerning people like Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, they can be, you understand, overly harsh towards Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. But ala kulli hal, back to what we're discussing. So those are also ta'us. Ta'us. So said Jumhur of the ulama take the view though overall regarding concerning this matter, it is not something which is wajib, or rather something which is mustahab to be done based upon various proof that they use. And overall, the author rahimahullah, that the matter regarding saying this is something which is wajib, if it is not read in the salat, then it would mean, according to that view, the person have to make sujood sahu. If you were not to do it, then according to that view, then you have to make sujood sahu. And the view of Jumhur that it is musta'ib, if you is preferred to stick to it. If you perchance didn't say it, your salat is still valid, and you don't need to make up anything in the salat for it. So that's concerning that particular matter. And the qawl said of Jumhur, it is the more correct view regarding that matter.
What's that? It's mustahab.
Mustahab.
So what's the correct opinion about that then?
Mustahab.
Is it?
Okay.
So what's the difference between being mustahab and being sunnah muakkada?
And those concerned that the ulama of usul al-fiqh, or the ulama, so the ulama in general, when they discuss concerning categorizing actions, regarding, they put them into 5 main categories. So an act, regarding the ruling that will be passed on it, that will fall into 5 general categories. I'll mention that before, isn't it? What are they? The 4 rulings that will be passed on an act. In general, that in general,
wajib,
wajib,
mustahab,
sunnah, makruh, haram. That means we have 5 already. What said? Wajib, mustahab, sunnah, makruh, and haram. So with ulama in generally, they have wajib, nam,
Or fard, it can be.
and fard,
Yeah.
both words sometimes used. Then we have mustahab and sunnah, they use the word mandub. Now, so you might find a word, so in that category of the second level, after wajib, they sometimes the word may use maybe sunnah, or mustahab, or sunnah mu'akkada. Now, all of them kind of somewhat relate, somewhat of generally similar meaning, but sometimes the word sunnah mu'akkada, someone can say, if for example, can I give a little higher precedent in that area, where it's not the level of wajib, but a sunnah, mustahab, but to a little higher degree where not to leave it to the best of your ability. For example, sunan, salat, sunan al-fajr, sunan al-fajr. Because for example, you have a sunan regarding compulsory salawat, you have sunan al-fajr, 2 before. For dhuhr, you have before and after. Asr, not per se, Maghrib after, and Isha after. So you have certain ones that they are called mustahab in general, but those ones are in different degrees. The ones of Fajr, the Prophet Islam never left them whether he's traveling or he is residential. The others, when he's traveling, he wouldn't do it, of the one that relate to the other salawat. But when he's regarding Fajr, those Sunan of Fajr, if he's traveling, he still performed them, still did them. So I refer to them as a way of showing that they should as given like more of a higher degree compared to others as Sunnah Mu'akkada. Nam. So sometimes we'll say generally it's within the same category. But sometimes they put emphasis on a Sunnah. So that's concerning those hadith. So all these hadith can somewhat give us an idea of some of those things that can be said after the tashahhud, but before taslim. And what it mentions, so those are the things that can be said. Then after, the person after that, so the sequence would be regarding the general thing of the tashahhud, that the person starts out with what? At-tayyat. Then after that, the person will go to salat, al-Ibrahim. Then the person will go to, after then you go to these supplication. Nam. So you go to these different supplication of those concerning the more. So he tries to say as many of these, more so concerning these supplication before he give the taslim, before giving the taslim. And he can start mentioning concerning إذا تشهد أحدكم فليستعذ بالله من أربع. يقول اللهم, what to be said, يقول اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب الجهنم. So seeking protection regarding certain things. Of the first concerning عذاب الجهنم, concerning seeking protection, concerning that, seeking protection regarding that thing that will, the person is, things I seek protection that falling into action that can lead to be punished in the next life. So things that I can avoid, things I seek protection from any form of punishment in the next life, that will necessitate, that will the person trying to avoiding things that can lead to this. Nam of adab al-jahannam min adab al-qabr. So it shows concerning that adab al-jahannam is concerning matters. Jahannam is one of the name of the hellfire. Nam. And it shows regarding that the person who says this supplication, the person is salat, indicating that a Muslim can be punished in the hellfire, because Jahannam is one of the names of An-Nar. Now, so it shows that a Muslim can fall into actions that can warrant him being punished in the hellfire, and those things can be from the kaba'ir al-dhunub or dhunub, mainly of those of kaba'ir. Nam, they'll mention min adab al-qabr. So next area where a person can be punished for his shortcoming, for his sin, is while he's in the grave. Adab al-qabr. And that's concerning hayat al-barzakhiyya. Hayat al-barzakhiyya. Where adab al-qabr, or I mentioned concerning adab al-qabr, fitnat al-qabr, the person is punished in the grave for certain things. Mention of fitnat al-mahya wal-mamat, regarding the fitna of life and also of death. Then I mentioned Mashar, fitna al-Masih al-Dajjal. Well, Masih al-Dajjal, the word Masih is used in either two ways, Masih, Isa alayhi salam, or Masih al-Dajjal. So both are referred to as Masih, Isa alayhi salam, and also al-Dajjal. Both with those two, and both are individuals. Al-Dajjal in this particular case is specified as Isa is the one of guidance, Masih al-Huda, of guidance, where Dajjal is the one of Dalal. Nam, Al-Dajjal is a person, Nam, that is living at this moment, been around for a long time. All the Anbiya, they caution their people against this Dajjal. So the person waiting in a particular place, secluded from the world, and at a certain point he will be released, and it will be a test, and of the greatest test on this dunya. So anything that people have faced before is nothing like the Dajjal, where it will be a mark to distinguish between the Muslim haqqun or Muslim indahu nifaq. A lot of people that will follow him from the Muslim, from Yahud, and from the Kuffar. And a bulk of his followers will be from the Muslim Nisa. A lot of them will be from women. Nam, you will have An-Nar, and also will be, he can do miracles, as they say, they refer to as miracles. Nam, he will kill a person and bring him back to life, as with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission. So the Dajjal will be a great fitna. He will claim at some point, at the end of it, to be who Allah. He will claim to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it wouldn't be, it will be a build up, then he will claim to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nam, but that's concerning fitnatul ad-Dajjal.
Is he from the insan or from the jinn?
Min al-insan bani min ibn Adam, from the children of Adam alayhi salam. So it will be one of the sons of Adam.
But how does he have such a huge lifespan?
Being Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a test for a particular, which is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created him, Nam, for a test to be for this ummah, as he will come forth and test this ummah, not per se previous nations. Nam, regarding concerns at a certain time, it will be around the time concerning of the major signs concerning the closeness of the last hour, and it will be in a time concerned that, Isa, Yahjuj or Mahjuj, and Mahdi will be around the same time. Some leading people to this way, to the right, which is guidance, with Isa and the Mahdi. So the Mahdi will be there, trying to deal with certain things with the Muslim. Then you have the Dajjal, and also Yahjuj or Mahjuj. All of those things going on at the same time, or close to the same time. Now, so some Yahjuj or Mahjuj is also a big fitna and test, because of what it can do, and also of their followings, and also Ad-Dajjal doing his own thing. But it's a test for this ummah, or for the people who will be around at that time. The people to be around at that time. To some degree, a person said, because that a person said, "No, my iman is so strong, I want to meet this person," and he'll be destroyed, because believe that. So a person sometimes that sometimes we think we know our level of iman. Now we think we can manage dealing with certain things of fitna. So a person says, "No, my iman is strong, mashallah." And brothers who go to, Piccadilly circle, they call it circle or circus? Circle, huh? Okay.
Circus?
Circle or circus?
Piccadilly Circus.
Circus? Okay.
He is a circus, man.
Now, to go there, some brothers go there and give dawah. Brothers go there and give dawah. I'm not sure if they still do it. But Allah mustan. I wouldn't go, but I'm not going to go down there. Now, because it requires a person of that level of iman. Now, because the thing that you see there is not, it will be a nightmare. It will be a nightmare. Now, so certain things a person can somewhat know himself. And sometimes you think you know yourself very well. Sometimes you think you know yourself. So going to certain environment give dawahs because of what is there. Either the person goes there, a person who's very mature in age, senior in age, not a young shab, going to go to certain environment because your desires will be tested. And if you're a shab, still young, still active, Allah mustan. Now, so certain thing a person may believe that, I want to give dawah, but knowing the environment that you'll be going into. And no matter, because you have eyes, you have ears, it will be tested. And emotions. Now, so this person, you find different people with a person knowing what he's able, but sometimes don't think too much of yourself. Do not think too much of yourself. And think that you can deal with everything that comes your way. So ala kulli hal, the Prophet can somewhat, mention regarding seeking protection from the Dajjal and the likes. Then also on a supplication, also a person can mention Allahumma inni dhalamtu ana nafsi dhulman kathir. So I mentioned this narration, Allahumma inni dhalamtu nafsi dhulman kathira. Some narration, dhulman kabira. Nam, so some narration mention dhulman kabira. Nam, so mention many sins and some mention great sins. Nam, so you have those difference. وَلَا يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبِ إِلَّا أَنْتِ. So the person can somewhat first acknowledging that as a person that I have my own shortcomings and may have done things which is wrong. Nam, and those are many. Sometimes we are aware of our shortcomings and sometimes we are not. Sometimes we oppress others, we are aware of oppressing others, and sometimes we are not aware. So it is mentioned, Allahumma inni dhalamtu nafsi dhulman kathira aw kabira la yaghfir dhunub illa ant. None forgive sins except for you, seeking forgiveness and shortcomings. So the person can somewhat making tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding his shortcomings. And as we know, tawbah of conditions. And now rahimullah, he mentioned 4. Who knows them? Imam Nawawi rahimahullah regarding at-tawbah, he mentioned 4 conditions. What are they? Al-ikhlas, not returning back to the sin. An-nadam al-adam al-awda. Another.
Tawbat al-ikhlas, make tawbat al-ikhlas.
He did mention ikhlas.
He did mention ikhlas?
He did mention ikhlas because he Ibn Taymiyyah and others kind of somewhat to clarify things, they mentioned ikhlas, but now rahimahullah didn't per se include ikhlas, and that's what understood. That's kind of somewhat understood. So he didn't per se mention it as it is something which is ikhlas is understood. Now, so he mentioned ikhlas and izam, the person kind of somewhat discontinue, stop doing that sin. Nam al-azam and la ya'ud, and you have a firm determination not to return back to that sin. Wa-nadam, and also the person feel remorse regarding what he did of the past or that sin. And that's between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Regarding those 3 conditions, if the sin between the person and his Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it is between you and another person, then there's a 4th condition in takhallas, that a person tried to rectify that matter with that person. So if you, for example, you backbited that person in the past, the sin for that, or the person tried to, when you mention a person in the future, mention him in a good light. Because you mention him, especially regarding people that you did spoke bad about with that person, when you speak about him in the future, you try to mention good things about him. Or if you're able, you understand, let him know that, I spoke bad about you, forgive me, then that also can be done. If there's no problem that will come from it. Can you might tell a person, no brother, I spoke bad about you, then, you understand, he's not going to take that too well. And some people, their emotion, they overcome them. So if that's the case, then don't tell him about it. But when you speak about him in the future, always speak well.
Ustad, what were the three things? Conditions of Tawbah, not to return to it, feeling remorse.
And for the fourth,
Third, what was the third?
so I mentioned, discontinue doing that sin, stop doing that thing. Nam, remorse, feeling sad for what you have done, and also have the firm determination that in the future not to go back to that act. Nam, that's between Allah, the person and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if something between you and another person, another individual, then you have to try to kind of somewhat to rectify what you have done wrong to that person. Now, Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he owes that in certain cases, now I'm saying, a person, for example, spoke bad about you, told lies about you, that you can demand from that person money as a part of resolving the matter. Now, so the condition said, okay, all that you have done to me, you have slandered me, you understand? Pay up as a part of it. I'm not going to accept that you just saying good about me. I want you to pay me up. Now, but ala kulli hal, those are the condition. Regarding Ibn Taymiyyah, he added other conditions of the ulama that he mentioned al-ikhlas being one of them, and also in addition to that he mentioned fi waqti, our meaning of which is concerned a person making tawbah before at its appropriate time, because when death come upon you at that time you can't make tawbah. Now, so doing it at a time which is suitable. So those concerning those matters. The next hadith.
Both is the hadith, yes, Sahih. The wording is the wording is Sahih in this one.
Which one?
Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is authentic, I mean.
We said authentic, aywa. We said some narration have kabira. This one mentioned kathira. And some mention kabira. Nam? Both are correct.
Is that other than رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً, is that also something that can be said?
And it's supplication. But also the mention is preferable for the person to stick to those ones that we have the Prophet specified. But after then the person can use whatever he wishes. Next, we'll go to the next hadith, but that's only going to be our next. Okay, we start the next hadith. Aywa, next hadith.
Narrated Wa'il bin Hujr radiallahu anhu, I prayed with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he would give taslim, salutation to his right side, saying, peace be upon you and mercy and blessings of Allah, and to his left side saying, peace be upon you and mercy and blessings of Allah. Reported by Abu Dawood with a Sahih authentic chain.
Aywa. So the next discussion of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, as mentioned in the book, is the hadith of Wahid ibn Hujr regarding al-taslim. So this hadith is discussed concerning the ahkam relating to al-taslim in the salah, to bring the salah to an end. So he mentioned a hadith of Wahid ibn Hujr that mentioned Salaytu ma Nabi alayhi salam فكان يسلم an yamin Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Ya barakatuh in your book? And the first, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. On the first one, yeah.
Aywa, wa an shimali, on his left, he mentioned Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Is it wa barakatuh here again?
He says barakatuh in your book also?
Yeah, on both, on left side as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is in the Arabic one, in the Arabic side.
And in Arabic it's also said the same, barakatuh for both?
Barakatuh for both, yeah.
Okay. So okay then, no problem. So the hadith is narrated by Abu Dawood. Nam. So the first discussion regarding this hadith is, I mentioned isnad, bi-isnadin sahih.
Sahih.
The hadith also, the hadith is narrated by Abu Dawood, and the hadith also in the Tabarani in his book Al-Kabir, Mu'jam Al-Kabir. That goes back to Wahil. So we have the hadith and min tariq Musa ibn Qais Al-Hadrami and Salama and Al-Qama ibn Wahil and Abihi who's Wa'il. Nam, that's the isnad al-hadith. There's a discussion regarding one of the narrators who's Musa ibn Qais, who narrates on Salama. and Salama narrates an Alqama, and Alqama narrates on his father who's Wa'il. Clear? But that's the isnad. The reason why we mention this, the narrator who's Musa ibn Qais, there's some discussion regarding him that relates to this hadith. Now, which is in the Arabic, before we've got in my Arabic text, and I find different, it doesn't have in the second taslim barakatuh. It doesn't have it. But in your text, the Arabic and in the English, it is there for both, for the right side and for the left side, for both taslim. Right? Sometimes what happens, the original hadith is in Abu Dawood. Right? The books of hadith that we have, Kutubu Sitta, what they have, those collections of hadith, they have what is referred to as Rawi or Rawat Kutubu Sitta or Rawat al-Kutub al-Hadith. So you have Abu Dawood collected his collection of hadith. Imam Malik collected his collection of hadith in Muwatta. Bukhari have his collection, right? But they have students that they read his hadith to, or that collection, that book. Some student, in some of those sort of students become the narrators of hadith on that Imam, Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawood and the likes. With me, I'll put on this part. So for example, Imam Bukhari, or for example, in our case, Abu Dawood. Just as I'm saying, we are the students of Abu Dawood. With me? So we'll be the one to narrate this book from our teacher who is Abu Dawood. So we have us, this is 6 of us. Each of us narrate as we heard it from the Imam. With me? But sometimes those narrations, when they are narrated back to others, the student narrating it back to others, sometimes have a slight differences. Because sometimes the Imam, for example, Imam Malik rahimahullah, in his book Muwatta, he used to repeat this book, teach this book over and over and over. Some student heard things that other didn't hear. Because Imam Malik, every time he read, he did some changes himself. With me? So the narration, it varies depending on the student that narrated it from Imam Malik. At the stage, so you have different narrations of Muwatta. And the same thing with Abu Dawood. And many books of hadith. Type?
But when these books have been written, why do you need more narrators?
Now, it's narrate. He wrote it, but then he passed it on. It was spread by his student, not the Imam.
Yes, but then you have a reference available, isn't it? To go back to the original source.
Yeah, right. So sometimes it is when those references, even though it's a student, sometimes when a person, an Imam, write a books in any case, sometimes you have the original script, but then later on he may correct certain things. With me?
Yep.
And he may change certain things. So depending on the student who get that copy, you might get the revised copy by the Imam himself. So those copies may vary with one student with another depending on which copy you receive, or as a narration. Now, because they usually read the books out and the student, they would write it out. So Abu Dawood is one of those ones that you have, I've said in this case of Abu Dawood, the written forms that we have, they say manuscripts, there's a discussion regarding, based upon different riwayat, narrators who are the students. Some mention even in the first one regarding, is barakatu a part of it or not a part of it? Even in the original writing, the original script. With me? Close? Yeah. Walking with me?
Yeah.
So even concerning the word, so you have to be discussed, even in the script or the manuscript of Abu Dawood, you understand, is barakatu a part of even the first taslim, even more so the second, a more even discussion, where most doesn't have in the second barakatu, but in yours it has it. With me? Because Ibn Hajar may be reading from a different script. With me? So different Imam that come later on, they're reading from a different script, manuscript, that he may have one particular copy, but there's other copies. So you have various narrators of Abu Dawood, some more precise than others. You have Lu'lu'i, Al-Arabi, and others who narrated Sunan Abu Dawood. Clear? Even today, the Sunan Abu Dawood that we have, there's still work that is being done to make it the most as precise as the author wrote the book. Because he have various narrations from his students. So trying to collect all of them and then come out with a master copy. So why some copies may have slight change in words. Sometimes one hadith may precede another compared to other students. So you have the little differences. So it's trying to find a copy that truly gathered everything and is like a master copy. You have one place in Egypt, a research center, under that you have different mashaykh trying to like edit the books of the Sunnah. So they're trying to gather all the copies. Sahih Bukhari we have the copies that are there, over 300 manuscripts of Sahih Bukhari. One person tried to gather all of them and then try to make it into one single copy that will give us a proper, precise collection of Sahih Bukhari. 600. So whatever we have today, you understand, is it representing what Imam Bukhari wrote? So it will be print is in, so you have those works being done. Because you have manuscripts of those books all over the dunya. England, you find some in England, in America, in Turkey, in here, in there, in Egypt, in Syria, you understand? In Pakistan, in Hind, all over the place you find manuscripts.
So in England as well?
Yeah, you have a lot of manuscripts in England of books.
How did it reach here before? In the past though?
And from the past, because remember England kind of somewhat was a part of concerning those people who went and colonized and divided up some of the Arab world, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So they kind of somewhat
Took the material.
Hey, they took stuff. And it's in the library there. So you find lots of stuff that is there that still need to be Muslim stuff that need to be looked into and to see and understand, can see which book is what. Because sometimes they are unable to say which book is what.
Yeah.
You understand? So you find a lot of stuff. So you find work being done. The Shahid, you find work being done. So sometimes that can impact upon the narration that we have today.
Do you think the wars that are going on, can they...
The what?
The wars that happen. The fights, the
colonization.
the colonization, the wars, even in contemporary times. Say what happened in Iraq. Iraq was the center of learning in the past, isn't it? So they had, there were pictures in television as well. They burned down quite a few libraries.
And those things are impact upon things. Yes, it's concerned that even in time the Crusades,
Yemen.
you understand, and different wars that take place. Like example of recent time, when Iraq when the Americans took over Iraq. Remember they went in there in the circle and knocked on Saddam's statue, and everything kind of somewhat went loose.
Yes.
You understand? Because they do without the army, they dismantled the police force, so people were looting everywhere. Of the place that were looted was where? The museum.
Yeah.
So people went to the museum and took a lot of stuff, artifacts. So as the answer, but they were told events. So things in that, something that, a lot of stuff were taken. The people eventually were told by the people they looked to, you understand, to bring them back. A lot of stuff was returned, but things some may get lost in during that time. You understand? So during any little war, things sometimes get lost. You understand? So that's of the thing. So ala kulli hal, concerning hadith, regarding a discussion regarding, is especially concerning the word in barakatu, a part of the hadith. Naam. So from a hadith perspective, is barakatuh, a part of the hadith concerning the taslim. So the person said in the first one, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Should we say wa barakatuh? And also the second one, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Should barakatuh be also a part of the taslim? So you have a discussion regarding the authenticity of the wording of the hadith, the wording al-barakatuh wa barakatuh. That to be discussed next week, inshallah. Because we are now at 9 o'clock.
What time do you pray?
9:15.
9:15.